We often give too much power to what we like to call demons, in other words, negative energies, and this comes from a lack of understanding because we've been conditioned to fear what we don't fully comprehend, when in reality, these energies are just a part of the universal principle of polarity. And all of it, regardless of how it appears, is all coming from one source, the divine intelligence that most of us call God. So every experience, whether we label it as good or bad, is an expression of God. Nothing is separate from source. There is no devil, there is only God, because God is the all. God is everything and everywhere all at once. God is not separate from life. God is life. God is the source of all energy, and God is also the intelligence and consciousness behind that energy. So in other words, God is the source and substance of everything energy, matter, thought, and beyond. Each of us has the power to choose which side of the spectrum we live on day by day. And the way we do this is by deciding what we think about. Am I thinking positive thoughts or negative ones? Am I speaking kind words to others and myself, or am I putting others and myself down? Am I choosing habits that are good for me or that bring me down? Am I watching something that inspires me or fills my head with nonsense? And it's not always about being so perfect or sticking to one side. Like I've mentioned before, we are here to experience everything. We have given too much power to people we like to call elites or Illuminati. They were just people who decided to step up and play this game of life, and they created systems years ago that we are still operating in today because a new system hasn't been created yet, which I do see is starting to happen now. So many people are speaking up for things and making changes. We are standing at a threshold of a powerful shift where the old ways are falling away to make space for higher ways of being. But the elites were just people who got submerged in the negative forces. They were operating in the lower frequencies because their shadow selves was in control of them, meaning their ego, fears, and ignorance. The shadow self is parts of us made up of hidden fears, pain, and emotions that we've buried or refused to face. And when we don't face our shadow, it doesn't just go away. It hides and controls us from the background. That's when fear, ego, and judgment runs the show. It keeps us stuck in lower frequencies, trapped in old patterns, and disconnected from who we really are. Facing our shadow is how we break free and rise to the light. This allows us to experience the positive side of the spectrum into the higher frequencies. Since the elites lived from their shadow selves, their actions reflected that, creating these systems that we are still living in today. So these systems are not truths or positive ways of operating because they are reflections of these people's inner darknesses projected outward. And this is a great example of the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. They could only create from the level of their inner world, which was filled with ego, fear, and ignorance. They were people who were deeply disconnected to their higher selves, creating a world filled with that same fear and separation. So it's not that the elites were inherently evil, they were just operating from a lower way of being. And these people were just playing their role in the evolution of humanity. If you look back in history, we have only been growing to a more peaceful way of being. And all of this has showed us what we don't want for our world. And that's one of the blessings of polarity. Sometimes the negative things teach us the most. Since we've been experiencing the negative side of the spectrum, we are now being pulled to the positive side. And this is a perfect example of the principle of rhythm, the teaching that energy moves in natural cycles, swinging back and forth like a pendulum. Just as we went through darkness and destruction, that same principle of rhythm is bringing us into light, healing, and renewal. And God is behind all of this, so there's nothing to fear. Evil is often seen as the ignorance of truth. So darkness is not its own power, it's the absence of light. Meaning darkness is not its own opposing force, it's where awareness, meaning light, has not yet reached. So darkness has no inherent power on its own, it only has the power we give it through our fear and ignorance. And the more we give our attention to these negative things, like elites, old systems, our fears, bad habits, and our negative thoughts, the more they will grow and have power over us. Because as we know, where attention goes, energy flows. So the best things that we can do is put our energy to all the new and positive things that are currently being created. Don't get stuck fighting the old, build the new. That could be as simple as taking care of yourself better, like eating healthier, or giving out more compliments, or even building your dream business that can provide a service to others and the world. Remember, you are choosing and creating the reality that you are living in. You can continue living in the old earth, ruled by fear, ego, illusion, separation, and ignorance, or you can awaken to the new earth, guided by love, truth, awareness, unity, and divine wisdom. As the principle of mentalism states, all is mind. Everything starts in your mind. So the old earth and new earth aren't places, they are states of consciousness, shaped by the thoughts and beliefs we choose to hold. So the real battle is not outside of yourself, it's within your consciousness.